my visitors, my pumpkins. It is Wednesday, and it's good to see you guys. Glad that you're here. What's up? What's up? Some faces I didn't see come in. This is, yes, the series that we're in right now. Well, hold on. Let me explain that some more. This is the first sermon in a new series. That series is called EYTH Values, right? And tonight the focus is deeply loving. Meaning that here at EYTH, we want to be people that deeply love. And we're going to talk about what that means and what that looks like. But first, to start, who was here last week for Care Night? Some of you were here. Some of you were here. What do we think? What do we think of Care Night? Good? Amazing? Love it. I'm glad to hear that. I hope that it was beneficial for you and it was a nice reset. If you weren't here, what in the world is Care Night? Well, let me tell you. Care Night is a night that we specifically focus on a relationship with Christ. And what we do is we become aware of our body and our mind and our spirit, and we really just focus in, and we take some time to breathe, and we just figure out, where are we as a human being? Where am I at? What does my mind race to? What in my body aches? And we take some intentional time to focus on that. And then we recenter ourselves. We bring it back in. We remind ourselves, I'm going to be okay. And so last week what we did is we did some soap. Does everyone know what soap is? I sure hope all of you know what soap is. But I'm actually referring to the acronym SOAP. And it's a way that you can study the Bible. And the S stands for Scripture. And then what do you observe about that Scripture? How can you apply that Scripture? And how can you pray that Scripture over your life or others? And that's what we did last week. And we went over 3 verses that we gave you an opportunity to take a look at. Does anyone remember one of those verses? Crickets. Luke 8. Luke 8, 14, 15. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And I think we have a slide for those if you wanted to take a look at them. And they are the verses that we took an opportunity to study last week. And the reason why we did these verses is because these verses, they apply to the conversations we're going to be having over the next couple weeks. This week, I want to talk about how we want to be people who deeply love. Next week, Roy is going to speak on how what? Does anyone know? Roy, is that what you're doing? No, Roy next week is going to talk about how we can freely give. And the week after that, Marley is going to talk about how we can always keep growing. And that are the values that we have here at EYTH. Those are the things that we want to be known for. And so this week, we start with deeply loving. So, the first question is, what does it mean to love? What does it mean to love? Well, the Bible tells us. It makes it real simple for us, too. Well, it complicates it a little bit, but then it makes it simple. And there's a verse that so clearly tells us exactly what love is, and it's this. It's 1 John 4:8, and it says, anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love. God is love. What are the 2 greatest commandments that we have as followers of Christ? Love God, love others, right? So what does this mean? Anyone who does not love doesn't know God because God is love. What does that mean? It means love can't exist without God. If it's love but God's not a part of it, then it's not love because God is love. Somewhat confusing, maybe. But there's another verse that kind of helps us explain, so God is love. Love is God. Kind of confusing. Okay. What does it look like? What does love look like? How can I point it out to someone? There's a great verse. And this is where, if you have a Bible, if you have the Bible app on your phone, this is a great time to turn to 1 Corinthians. You're going to be turning to chapter 13, verse number 4. 1 Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 4. And it says this: love is kind, love is patient. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud. I lost my spot. It does not honor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails. What is love? Jesus. God. God never fails. God always protects, right? You guys start seeing the correlation? It's not necessarily when you go up to someone. When I say, I love you to Kayla, I'm not saying, I God you, right? Like, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying, the verse, can we get the verse back up? 1 Corinthians, please and thank you. But what we are saying is, my love for you is given to me by God so that I can give it to you, right? Because God is love. It's not love without God in it. And another thing that love is a sacrifice. And we see it when we put love on a scale, Jesus tells you what the very top of that scale is. He says in John 15:13, greater love has no one than this, that someone lays down his life for his friends. And Jesus showed that, right? He died for you and for me and for the disciples and all people. When you hear someone who just loves someone, what do they normally say? Like, what would you do for your best friend? I'd die for them, right? I'd take a bullet for them. You would? You wouldn't? Is that what you said? That's okay. Hey, not everyone's ready to make that sacrifice, right? Like, scary. And here's the deal, right? We use love for so many different things. I love cheeseburgers. Am I saying that I'd die for a cheeseburger? Like, I'd take it, like, if you were about to point a gun at a cheeseburger, I'd jump in front of it to say like, no, that's not what I'm saying, right? And so what we want to focus on, I don't know what place you're going to that has a burger for $13. Is there at least fries and a drink? Okay. All right, so it's a meal. That's totally different. Hold on. That's two different conversations. Just one cheeseburger versus cheeseburger, fries, and a drink? That's a little more tempting. All great questions. I'm happy to answer later. But, so we use love for multiple things, right? We say, I love you to your parents, to friends, to our pets. I love these shoes. I love this show. Great. How can we really dial in the love that we are talking about? The way we can do that is we want to say that we are people that deeply love. Adds a little bit more oomph to it. And what do we mean by deeply love? Well, the simple answer is all of those things that 1 Corinthians listed, and sacrificial love, all of that, but just more, right? I guess that's the way you can simplify deeply loving. But I want to dive a little bit more into, okay, what does it mean to actually deeply love someone? That's what we're talking about tonight. Talking about how do we deeply love a person, a human being. And let me make it clear, love doesn't necessarily mean romance, right? That's not what I'm talking about. That's a whole, we'll get to that in February, right? We'll talk about that then. But for tonight, just a general sense and feeling of love in the room, right? So how do we deeply love? Here's some things that can help you realize if you are deeply loving someone. The first one is this. When you deeply love someone, you feel a sense of calmness when you're with them. It's not so much adrenaline. right? Because adrenaline is based on something that's happening and an emotion is rising. And what this is, I feel calm in their presence. Why is that? There's a multitude of reasons it could be. Is it because they're caring? They look you in the eyes. They care about what you're saying, their body language, just the general environment that you feel when you're around them. There's a sense of calmness with it. You can deeply trust this person. I say, like, if someone brings up someone that I've met at an event, I'll be like, oh, I love that guy. I love that guy, but I don't deeply love him because I'm not going to trust him with all my secrets, right? But Kayla, my wife, I deeply love her, and I will trust her with my secrets. I know I can trust her. I can count on her. Know this, you have a deep concern for this person. You actually care about their well-being. And when you notice something is off, you recognize it. You see it. You may not always, but sometimes you say something about it, right? You call it out. Let me ask you guys a question. Those of you that have been here for a while, you've seen the faces in the room. Do you have deep concern for the people around you? You don't have to raise your hands or anything. I just want you to think about that. When you show up to youth group, do you recognize the faces and the eyes that you see? Do you notice the difference in emotion and personality that someone comes into week after week? Do you recognize these things? Do you care about these things? If we want to be people who are known to be deeply loving, it's got to start here, right? Or it's got to start in your homes. Do you have concern for your siblings? And not just like it'd be really lonely with my parents if they left someday, but like, no, do you like actually care about your sibling? Do you have concern for your parents? Or do you just see them as some authoritative figure in your life that just tells you what to do and when to go where? Or do you actually see your parents as a human being? Say, wow, I see what life has thrown at you. And I don't know what your home looks like, right? I don't know what your relationship with your parents look like, so I'm not going to speak much into that. But do you care? Are you concerned? That is one way to know, am I deeply loving people or not? Another thing is this, you enjoy spending time with one another. There have been times in my life, I would like to say that I deeply love my brother. I wouldn't say that I've always deeply loved him every moment of my life. Because I don't always enjoy spending time with him, and I say that in a past tense. Like, I think when I was like a high schooler and he was like a middle schooler, I'm like, get away from me. I can't stand you. Get out of my room. I don't want you here. Right? These are mean, harsh things. I hope you recognize that. Because guess what? I have heard those same things uttered here at this youth group. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about the language that you have used to describe how you feel spending time with others? Another question for you guys. Who looks forward to being here on Wednesday nights? Yeah, it's a great time. You know what that means? That means that you are people who are learning how to deeply love because you enjoy spending time with these people. It's not about the building. I mean, the building evergreen is great. Love it. Thankful for it. But when I show up to church or to youth group, I'm not excited to be here in this room. I'm excited to be here with you guys and with the leaders and my friends, my family. I deeply love you guys because I enjoy spending time together, having conversation, experiencing something together. That's another way you know if you're deeply loving someone. Another thing is this. Effort. Everyone say effort. Oh, Don't even get me started about effort. It's so much work. Oh my gosh. But a way that you know if you deeply love someone, are you putting effort into that relationship? Because I tell you what, I am now old and jaded, stuck in my ways. But let me tell you what, when me and Kayla first started dating, there was nothing that I wouldn't do. She'd be like, you want to go do this? And I'm like, I've never done that before, but I'll do it because you like it. And I want you to like me, so yeah, I'll do it, right? Or like, hey, you came here and you had to put an effort to run around as an imaginary pumpkin and a pumpkin. I don't know what that was about, but you put in effort because you enjoy being here. You enjoy being with your friends, right? Effort is a great way to know if you're deeply loving someone. And I want this one to be made very clearly. I want everyone to listen to me. The next one is this. If you safely grow by getting out of your comfort zone, right? Trying new things. I don't want that to be taken as, oh, this person says that I should do this. Well, I'm supposed to deeply love, so I guess I'm going to do it and get out of my comfort zone. That's not what I'm saying. But you will notice that if you deeply love someone, like your family, you'll go do something new with them because you want to grow with them. You want to progress with them. You want to continue doing things with them, right? So these are just some of the ways you can understand what it means to deeply love. And it gets even more complicated. Because we have, in our lives, we have different groups. We have different families within our own individual lives. And I'm going to give you a few examples of them just to kind of help you understand. And as I'm saying them, think about your life. Think about, okay, who fits into this family? What group fits into this? And they're not ranked. I'm not saying one of these is more important than the other, but I just want to kind of remind you of all the different families that we have in our lives that we sometimes just forget about. So, the first one is the really easy one, our blood, right? So we have what's called our nuclear family, basically our household family. Who lives in the house that we live in? That's your family, right? By blood. And then we have extended family. We got the aunts and the uncles and the grandparents. And then we've got our siblings, right? If you have siblings, whether you like it or not, they are family, right? You should like it. Siblings are awesome. So we have our blood, but then we also have our created families, right? We have our chosen families, which this is something that was brought to mind. I was at a soccer game this week, and there was a moment in the game where a player went down. You guys okay? We're good. What? Which team? It was the Glencoe team. It was the Glencoe game that I went to, and the other team had a player that went down. And what happened was when that player was down, the coach runs over, the ref is over there, and the other teams, they go over and they get in own separate huddles. And what I notice is everyone either has looks of concern or they're trying to figure out what's going on, and some people are taking over the conversation hey, this is what we're going to do. What it reminded me of is that we have families there. We have groups that we have a deep love for. And I don't know what it looks like for you. Maybe it is a soccer team, right? Maybe it's the theater group. Maybe it's the basketball team, the football, name out some other ones. Who else has got a group, a found family? Lacrosse, yes. What else? What? Bowling fam. Girl Scouts, yes. What else? EYTH, yes. What else? Swimming, the swim team. Volleyball, art class, right? Speed eating friends? Yes, exactly. Or another one, how about this? Fandoms. Is anyone in here a Potterhead? See? With pride. You see how quick his hand went up? He's like, I'm a Potterhead. Like, that is a sense of belonging that's happening there. If you walk up to Everett and you're like, I like Harry Potter, he's like, you're my new best friend and I love you deeply. Right? Yeah. Swifties are a part of that category. Any Swifties in here? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. Time out. Time out. Time out. Time out. We will not boo any families in here. That will not happen. Unless their family name is literally Boo, then we can like say Boo. But I don't think that's going to happen. Yes, you have a question. Are all fandoms what? Cults? When did I ever say anything about cults? I said nothing about that. But you guys, all right, let's bring it back in. Bring it back in. Do you guys understand what I'm saying, though? When you find a group that you feel belonging in, that you feel like you matter, that you're seen, that the people around you understand your passion or your enjoyment, there's a sense of love there, of family. Like, wow, you get me. You see me. You understand me. That's what I'm saying. Not that they're cults. That's not what I'm saying. And so we have that, our chosen family. And then we have, eventually, one day, if you get married, then you have your spouse's family, right? I wasn't born with Kayla's mom and dad being my mom and dad, but they are now. That was created after the fact. Or step-parents, step-siblings, right? That is a created family after the fact. That is built. And the last kind of category is this: community. Who has like a family friend where like you have like a family that you are really close with? You guys may go on vacations with that family. Like that is creating in your community a family. The O'Briens, exactly. You guys have dinner together like all the time. They're right down the street. They feel like family. What about for those of you that work? Have any of you experienced like a work family? Like those are the people that you go to war with every day, and you guys have seen some stuff together. If you'd let me finish, yes, school was the next thing. Your school family. See? Your classmates. Where you meet your best friend, probably like 60, 70% of the time was at school, right? Again, 60 or 70, not 100%, all right? Gosh. And the last one that I have is this. The last family that I have is this. A religious group. Here. EYTH. If you've been here before, you've heard this. We're a family. Whether we see you again or not, this is a family. And we want it to feel like this. And we want to be people that deeply love in this family. And my question for you is this: what makes this family so different from all the others? What is it about God's family that is so different from all the others? Can anyone tell me? Abby. Yeah, that's great. That's not the answer I had, but absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. And that example is, right, the two greatest commandments. Is love God, love people. Because God died for us, loves us. Now we get to extend that to others because we've seen what that looks like. Any other answers? I don't know if it's obvious, but this is what it is. What makes the family of God different from all these other ones that I described? This is the difference. The family of God can be present in all those families that I listed. Exactly, right? He's the family that'll never leave. But the family of God, the only family that can be present in all the other families. And here's what I mean by that. If, for example, I wanted to say, Ella is my sister through Christ. Yes. Yes. If I wanted to say, Ella is my stepsister, no, that does not work. Why? Because we are not related in any way by our parents. If I wanted to say that Mariah, right? Mariah is my soccer team family. We've never played for the same team. That doesn't work, right? Jake, you're my blood brother. We don't share any of the same blood. His blood has never been anywhere near mine, and my blood has never been near his, right? No, that's... I walked into that one. Yeah. If I said, right, that Emma is my cousin, no, we are not extended family. You're right, Lucas. I don't know. But here's the thing. Science can prove it. We're not known. What I want you guys to understand is this. God's family supersedes all other families. And this is where I need you guys' attention, okay? I know we've been goofing off. We've been having fun. We're going to be heading to small groups soon. And so I want you guys to really hear what I have to say. God's family supersedes all the other ones. We are a group of people in this room where we are all part of the same family, no matter our race, our social status, where we grew up. We can have differing opinions, right? Our beliefs kind of have to be the same. So that's like the one thing that we have to be in agreement in. But you have people in here who you need to take care of. And that's a lot of responsibility for me to ask of you. But that's what it is. It's an ask. Would you be the type of people that deeply care and deeply love around you? Would you actually care about the person sitting behind you and next to you? Would you actually look into their eyes? Would you understand that when it comes to family, not everyone has a good example of family? For some in this room, when I say family, they may immediately check out. Because of decisions that weren't made by them. In all honesty, when they go home, they have a crappy family. It's true, though. It's true. And I say that because it's true. And I need us to understand the importance of it. And recognize that we are a group who have several very different experiences. And I think sometimes we just forget about that. We just say, you're fine. I got my own things to worry about. And when I say that they don't have a good family at home, I don't mean that there's no hope. Don't get that confused. There is hope. But it's because the opportunity that we have is to bring God into those families that we have. Because not everyone invites God in. Not everyone has a relationship with Jesus. And so that's then when we get to take in that second part. Love others. That's what we get to do. And how do we love? Well, God's got to be a part of it.